Ah. Yuki?
Hello. I have good and bad news for you, Ren. Which do you want first?
I don't think I can take bad news right now.
Kage says you're off the hook for the Planet X folks. Mostly.
Really? Okay, what's the catch?
You have to find something else.
I think I have just the thing. Wait, are you still recording? Fine, let's just roll with it.
Ren. Clothes?
In a minute. Hello there all you folks out there in YouTube land. Well, apparently there are limits to the ability of some people to dredge even the narrow topic. We were going to do a video on the Nibiru wax spins this week, but apparently after 3 days of banging his head against a wall, Kage has decided he needs to talk to an astrophysicist so we can do a truly epic mocking and decisive debunk. Apparently the sheer volume of feces involved does not help our format. In the meantime, I've found an entire channel full of stupid. They're called LieKillers, and with a name like that, you know this is going to be good. I have a problem calling this creature LieKiller, as he does no such thing, and so he is to be redubbed Licker, after the monster of the same name from the video game series he's maligning so completely. I had a lot to wander around and dig through, but this little gem stood out immediately. Umbrella Corporation and zombies are real and really exists. No, I'm not making this up. There's no way I could. The sheer level of grammatical fail alone here is just astonishing. A large portion of the videos on the channel have no voice tracks except in rare cases where you get a short clip of outside video. That worked well for CDK007, but then he had proper content and music that didn't put me to sleep. This is different. I strongly recommend you keep a bottle of something highly alcoholic on hand for the duration. The stupid is migraine-inducing, and the shock to your nervous system may be extreme. I will not be responsible for any fatalities that result from watching his video without taking the proper precautions. There will be a link in the description for any masochists that want to verify I haven't cut anything out without saying something. Now, let's get dug in. So let me see if I've got this straight. Your god, the one from Europe rather than the Middle East where his legend arose, communicates to you and the guy running the other channel. This by extension makes you and your sister channel the official channels of God, yes? You then go on to play the old saw about how your videos are not for sheeple, which couldn't discern between your special brand of woo and the peddled by the likes of, say, Spirit Science, or other similar truth-seeking channels. Then you hit us with the title of this malodorous wankstain, The Umbrella Corporation is real. I'm certain that Capcom would disagree with you. Their Biohazard series has been around longer than your video. You make several assertions here, and support none of them. One at a time then. The first we'll take as read, if only because people have been saying this for millennia, and arguing with you won't do any good. As for CERN making a bomb with conserved energy, I'm going to hazard a guess that you have no idea what the law of conservation of energy actually means in any context. You can't build a bomb with that, never mind one in all caps capable of destroying Hoover Dam. Neither do you seem to know anything about electricity and electromagnetism. Lake Mead doesn't have the chemical makeup necessary to be a battery. Even if it did, you'd have to use it to power a device to make a portal to anywhere, not just have one spontaneously appear because you dropped a bomb full of quote conserved energy unquote into a large body of water that you claim will be full of electricity before the bomb ever gets there. We won't get into your claims about other dimensions, as I am not a string theorist. A portal is a way to get somewhere else, by definition, and telling us that it's a shortcut is redundant. Next slide. Here you state definitively that the portal goes to Saturn. If you're talking about the planet with the orbital semi-major axis of 9.58 astronomical units from Sol, then we should be prepared for global ecophagy unless the portal and associated vortex are extremely short-lived. Even then, the makeup of Saturn's atmosphere would be deadly to life here even in small amounts. You could avoid that by opening the other end of the portal in orbit, but then you're replacing vast quantities of air with hard vacuum, and that won't go well either. Your best case scenario is for the other end to open onto the surface of Titan, but even then the atmosphere exchange would render Tyr hot enough to destroy our biosphere. From the bottomless pit of your portal to Saturn come the giant sons of God and the daughters of men from before the great flood of Noah, long since debunked, to recreate the Holy Roman Empire in Europe. Why there? Why not the Middle East? You know, that place they lived before your God murdered them? The place Kund Yahweh came from? We also get your first mention of the Umbrella Corporation. Pretty red map. It's at least up to date in Eastern Europe. Next you scroll out on the flag of Israel rendered black on red, followed by it hung on the front of the Vatican. If you're going to rip off the Israelis, at least try not to compound the problem by copy-pasting your variation of the flag on the publicity still of the seat of Catholicism. Pretty sure the Jewish state will not appreciate it. Black cube? Are we all going to worship one of GLaDOS's weighted companion cubes now? Black cube? Are we all going to worship one of GLaDOS's weighted companion cubes now? Now the umbrella logo, ripped straight from the game. You even included the slogan. You're so sweet. Capcom's lawyers are going to just adore you. You repeat the line from the film version of Resident Evil, followed by a laundry list of the major projects that the staple conspiracies surround. You can do better, LieKillers. It was made by an artist at the developer of the original Resident Evil game. Simple, really. Of course, you have your own explanation. You don't get to use yourself for a reference as evidence of anything. As far as the logo of the Illuminati from the quote Atlantis Empire, unquote, you have to first give direct evidence that either of those things exists beyond the fevered imaginings of Plato and Edgar Cayce. You haven't done that, and you likely won't in any of your videos, let alone this one. Here you conflate Satan and Yahweh, under the name 666. You also make another reference to the Illuminati, and claim that they were created as an order by your deity. From here, you go round the bend into virtual incoherence. If the Illuminati have no consciousness, then how are they in control of anything? Emotionless wood puppets would have a hard time understanding humanity well enough to control it. You still take Atlantis as read, despite a thorough debunking by folks far smarter than I am. This 666 creature returns in the body of the Son of Yahweh, and is the creator of the universe. Am I getting this right? I think that's what you said. Maybe I'm just a sheeple because I don't grasp grammatically bereft incoherent effluence. It makes my head hurt. I'd call it word salad, but it's so poor I'm not sure it even qualifies. Onwards, to symbology class. That's the cross of the Knights Templar, except in the wrong colors. Your 4 arrows leading to the end times, each with a meaning of its own. Evil, power, destruction and pride sounds wrong, most likely because you made it up from whole cloth. We won't get into how white on black is the official Illuminati version. You state that they're emotionless puppets controlled by a single entity, and therefore they wouldn't need a way to identify one another, would they?
While Ren is dressing, I'll field this one. Here you take various symbols used by European powers past and present to make a case for pervasiveness. This doesn't work on any level, but we are going to break it down anyway. Ren covered the cross of the Knights Templar, which dates from the order's formation in 1120 as guards for pilgrims attempting the journey to Jerusalem. Inside of 10 years, they had official support from the church, and the rest is history. The Danenborg is storied from 1219, and there is nothing relating it to the Knights Templar, even if it is contemporary with their existence. At least the Danes neglect to mention it on their website of the history of it, and I expect they would know. Similarly, the Swiss relate the story of their Swiss cross flag as starting in the early 19th century as a popular movement amongst the various battalions being fielded. It became official in 1840, and the red armbands they wore were retired after the First World War. The Maltese cross in that form came about in the mid-16th century, used by the Order of St. John of Jerusalem. They were finally given a home on the island of Malta, and there they remain with that as their symbol. You finish here by inverting the colors of the Maltese cross to your Illuminati symbol, turn it 45 degrees to fit inside the cross of the Knights Templar, and finish by smoothing out the indentations. Oh, look! It's the corporate symbol for umbrella from those silly puzzle horror games. What do you make of that? I say that when you play with shapes, you can get them to say anything you want them to, and this one is way too obvious. Rather like the cube and the Star of David flag you had up earlier. Religion of the Black Cube, eh? You should tell us about that. I really want to see it. I'll even take it for the shredding it no doubt richly deserves.
You can do that video another time, Yuki. This one's mine, if I remember correctly.
Go right ahead. I just did the symbology bit. Have fun with the rest.
Moving on, then. You claim umbrella is evil, and that it makes and disperses some unknown chemicals for chemtrails. This reflects a lack of understanding of high-speed aerodynamics. What you're seeing is exhaust gases and water condensation along the wake of an aircraft traveling at high speeds. The higher the altitude and speed, the more brilliant the trail. It's not even rocket science. No, I wasn't wondering. Sometimes the world is exactly as you see it. Looking in dark corners to make up fiction is really not required. Capcom owns it, as it's a fiction created for a series of video games. You missed out Microsoft on your list, as well as every media company. Your list mostly includes hard goods manufacturers, Biogard and Google. You'll have a hard time proving any of that, and of course you're not even going to try. I predict you're about to go on a tangent about the New World Order, trappings included, and unknown chemical food additives with various detrimental health effects. including but not limited to impotence, cancer, AIDS and other similar things. I'm still waiting for the zombie connection, but I get the impression it's coming up soon after you build your case with some evil diseases. That didn't take long, and you acknowledged the video game and film tie-ins to Biohazard. That noted, I'm going to let you finish, since you've still yet to get to it. Here we go. The zombies at last. Apparently, you also come with an example. Let's give it a look.
Right now, new at 11 for you, new information on that horrific attack by the MacArthur Causeway. Police were forced to open fire on a naked man who refused to stop chewing the face off of another man. We look into what could have caused this attack, and we have new details on just how much of the victim's face was literally bitten off. CBS 4's Tiffany Hellberg spoke to a police officer who was at the crime scene. She joins us live from Miami. And Tiffany, the officer believes the man clearly was on some very, very powerful drugs. That's right, Cynthia. The Fraternal Order of Police president tells me this crop of LSD is a major threat to police officers as well as the rest of us. He says it turns normal people into monsters that possess this superhuman strength and no ability to feel pain. He believes that's what was behind the incident that unfolded here Saturday in broad daylight just off the MacArthur Causeway exit right next to the Miami Herald, and it was the Herald's surveillance video that caught much of it on tape. Now, we want to warn you, much of the details you're about to hear are disturbing and gruesome.
It totally horrified me. This was probably my 30 years as a police officer, the nastiest, most horrific incident I've ever seen.
An incident partially caught on camera by Miami Herald surveillance. Fraternal Order of Police President Armando Aguilar says that cop had no choice but to shoot when he found a naked man chewing away at another man's face.
Had his face completely eaten from the top of his forehead to almost his jaw. It wasn't just that he was being bit, it's that the person was actually swallowing pieces of his face.
His cannibalistic attacker unfazed by the officer's commands to stop.
When the police approached him, he turned around and growled and kept attacking the victim on the floor.
That's when he says the officer shot him.
The initial shots had no effect. He had to repeatedly shoot him about 4 times until the man collapsed.
The naked attacker now dead on the sidewalk. There he is on the left. His now faceless victim lay on the ground next to him, likely writhing in pain as sources say he no longer had eyes or a nose.
I can only imagine, by talking to the officer, I see that he's totally traumatized. It was like something out of a horror movie.
Aguilar says this is the worst out of about 4 similar cases in Dade County to happen recently. In other incidents, the people have admitted to taking a new strain of what they're calling bad LSD.
Their body temperature reaches such a high degree that they have to take all their clothes off because they're basically melting from the inside.
He says that was a case just blocks away on Bayshore Drive. That was in March when a bloody naked man who had been hit by a cab growled at police and showed superhuman strength when they tried to help him.
There was more than 10 or 15 officers on the scene, and even after they tasered the man 2 or 3 times, he was still able to take a baton away from one of our officers and severely damage her arm.
Scary stuff. Now, I'm told that man from the March incident did survive. As for the man related to this incident off the MacArthur Causeway who was attacked in the face, we know he is currently hospitalized in critical condition. Live in downtown Miami, Tiffany Helberg, CBS 4 News Tonight. Unbelievable to hear it all. Thanks for that, Tiffany.
The 26 May 2012 attack at the MacArthur Causeway in Miami-Dade County, Florida was an idiot that took a drug referred to as bath salts and went nuts. Street drugs will do that to you, and Rudy Eugene rated what he got. I don't know what finally came of his victim, but I can hope he found some measure of peace after that. The internet went viral with it as a zombie attack because they thought it was funny. You come along 2 years later and claim Eugene was, in fact, a zombie. Bad form, LieKillers. I hope you have better than this showing for us next up. Do you even know what those words mean? A portal is a hole in a thing that leads to a location on the other side of the thing. A door, or an open window. Zombies come to us from voodoo, and you claim that both are real according to your vague definitions, same as umbrella. Good luck selling the thing about all the holy books being lies by Satan. That's bound to go badly, especially with fundamentalist elements.
Imagine a world where you can reverse the effects of age, stress, and sun. From the leading name in biotechnology comes Regenerate, another breakthrough from the Umbrella Corporation. regenerates revolutionary T-cell formula actually brings dead cells back to life. Now, your youthful beauty can last forever. Always consult your doctor before starting treatment. Some side effects may occur.
The same facial filler dermatologists inject in a serum you use at home. Avon introduces a new clinical Dermafol, a breakthrough answer to expensive injections. The first topical serum with the same injectable-grade facial filler used to restore the look of youthful fullness and contours. A new Dermafol, only from
Avon.
Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Call your Avon representative for a new Dermafol and say hello tomorrow.
Today, we're building a better world. A world of hope, a world of opportunity, a world made possible by the Umbrella Corporation. Welcome to the Umbrella Corporation's mobile recruiting system. Today, you will embark on the journey of a lifetime, entering a world that very few people will ever see. Inside these walls, the greatest...
The movie was made first, and as such, the designers at Avon may have taken their design cues from the film, or upon something else entirely. For all we know, they may have taken the design from the same place as the movie makers did, the connecting structure of the DNA double helix. Or somewhere else. It's not like finding the design in nature is even remotely difficult. Not that your final commercial is unlike any other recruiting screed for corporate awareness.
Стреляют, товарищ командир, стреляют! Двое его преследуют. Подлетают, 70 градусов на юг. Еще один. Их уже 4, которые его преследуют. Их уже 5, товарищ командир, 5. Справа. Третий вышел из здания. 5, товарищ командир, 5. Стреляют, товарищ командир, стреляют! Вы его поймали! Их уже 5, товарищ командир, они вышел из здания. Стреляют, товарищ командир, стреляют! Это двое поймали! Его преследуют. Оставайся на нем. Держи его. Господи, мне это что не нравится. Улетаем отсюда. Бедняга пропал.
Recruiting. This rang a bell, but it took me a minute to put together. The footage came from a promo trailer for S.T.A.L.K.E.R, Shadow of Chernobyl. They made it to sell a game, and you're seeing what you want to see. I'm more worried about your grammar and people believing your claims than I am about a zombie apocalypse. I could be wrong about it never happening, but I strongly doubt it. At least you bothered to tell us what these symbols mean. I expect to be seeing more of them as I get deeper into your copious collection of woo. The balance of the video is outro, so I'll just skip that bit. Some flash images for subliminal attempts, and etc. I have a number of links in the description for my sources, and it looks like Yuki left some for the symbology lecture. She gets into the whole history thing, so she may wander through to help with the human history movie. I'm not sure if that one will be next week or the week after, but we get to cover his evolution thing alongside it. After that, there'll be a poll for the last week of our month-long series on Wu and its peddlers before picking up with the more pedestrian stuff again. Kage wants to do the Nibiru movie towards the end of the year, and he'll probably be enlisting people to help. This week's shout-out goes to Martima81, who showed me the rabbit hole that led here. He's the one that made the videos that inspire the format we use here with his series, Why Do People Laugh at Spirit Science? It's a fun and informative watch, and teaches the value of a healthy dose of skepticism. I highly recommend it for all three of my viewers. Marty teaches science for a living, and is a wealth of information on physics. Next week, we dive right in and take a hard look at spirit science. That should be fun. That's it for us for this week. If you like what we're doing here, don't forget the magic buttons on the lower right, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free. If you have, tell your friends, and maybe they will too. Our social media links are below the fold, after the references. As always, fair skies and happy debunking.